It's another big day in the markets today, and I have updated technicals for you for SPY as promised in my video yesterday. And we'll also look to see what Qqq and IWM are doing and give further updates on Nvidia, Tesla, and also Bitcoin. There's a lot of resistance that we're seeing in the charts right now, and today is a day that can decide, will we break over that resistance or are we going to get rejected from it? We're going to have to check that out. Micron earnings coming up in the after hours today, by the way, which can be an early signal for the tech stocks, could be pretty important to us as a catalyst in terms of earnings. So let me put this up here for you, SPY. And I have the support and resistance levels on here along with the prices where you could expect to see interesting things happen. And so right here, we're between green and red is where we are currently positioned. So like I said, these are updated values. I noticed some values when I was going through my technicals that I think maybe I kind of shifted things by misclicking over time, and then I made those adjustments. So here are those prices, not far off what they were before, but they do carry on quite a bit in either direction. So you can see when that's going to take place. Let's drill down to the pre-market hours now, because there we go. I want to give you that daily view so we can see where we're at. And look at that pressure that we're putting on this. The bulls are gaining ground against the bears, and we're putting pressure on this resistance level that's up here. And we've peekabooed up above it several times, keep on selling down below it. We could finally put in that push to make that that next gain on that. The bulls could take over against the bears because the bears seem to keep ceding that ground to the bulls. So to the upside, watch out for this trend line that we have up here, still keeping us in the low to mid 570s, but then up above that is where we get the higher 570s, 570, 773. It's going to probably be some pretty significant resistance for us. Don't know that we'll make it there in a day. Don't know that we'll make it over resistance, but that's something that I'm watching for. If we do get rejected and then these 50-period moving averages give up on us, then we can watch for some of these previous lows we saw. But the big support that we have is down here at 564. So in the near term, that's what we want to watch out for the SPY. For the Qs, you can see the resistance band that we have up above this, 485, 54 is the bottom part of that, getting rejected. Again, we have the bulls gaining that ground against the bears. The bears not doing a whole lot there to keep that downward pressure on things. Seems like they're fighting. Again, the Qs could, in the near term, push us up a little bit higher, especially because we don't have anything really in our way too much with Micron earnings. Yes, but GDP tomorrow, we got to watch out for that. And then also we have a PCE report, which I don't know is going to tell us anything surprising about inflation, personal income and outlays itself, which PCE is a part of. Personal spending is going to be a big part of that. If we see contraction in that, yeah, that can be a big catalyst. And then also the personal income could also be something else that we want to be watching for to see if that's holding out. The story that is telling us about the wage earners, the way people are spending, about the consumer, because that can be further impact to GDP for the next estimate that we come out for Q3. The one that we have coming up on Thursday is the final one for Q2. So watch for that pressure upward to push us up through that resistance. If we get above that, 491 is where we find that next big level up above that. The top of this resistance band, by the way, is at 486.61. And then down below that for support around 480. And then down below that, 474. IWM finding itself in this area of support and getting a nice little bounce. This is a daily chart for IWM as we look at it, and you can see this low bottom wick here with that buying pressure that we had coming in after a tumble off of about 225. And as I keep on saying, the more that we spell Goldilocks scenario, we're going to get some hesitant bullish movement to the upside on this one. I think that next Friday is really going to be that big time that we're looking for a major catalyst for a move in either direction for IWM, for the Russell 2000 stocks. Into some specifics here. Nvidia, check it out. We're in that consolidation pattern. Pardon me. We're in a consolidation pattern for Nvidia. The RSI is rising. The volume yesterday, pretty darn decent, right up against resistance. Let's stretch that out. And so you guys can really see that rejection that we got yesterday in the pre-market hours up to 121.02, which is up above this resistance. And if we drill down to the hourly chart, you can see more about it, that we're kind of tickling that resistance. We were up above, fell down below. Now we're fighting back up above that. We could be getting that pressure enough to push us up to that 125 level. So watch for that today. If we tumble out of that, watch for 118. So for Tesla, as we move into Tesla, we are at the top of this support zone that I have on here. As a matter of fact, now that we're back down in it, this might actually be better branded as resistance. So I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to color code this thing if I can get it clicked on. I always seem to struggle with that part of it. There we go. We'll do this. We'll click on the end of it, and we're going to color it red this time. Boom. There we go. And I would like to see it more cleanly broken to call it support. I do have some prices on here that you can look at for Tesla to see what the upside would look like and what the downside would look like, depending on if we get a rejection here from resistance or if we continue to climb up on this. My apologies. We did break out of the rising wedge pattern that's on here, but you can see off the top of this thing that we didn't cleanly break through the top of that we're really starting to struggle with around that 253, high 253s to 254. The resistance that I have on here is 253.78. So that's that price that we're going to look for to break up through that. You can see what happened the last time we peaked up above that we got a bit of a rejection off that as well. Let me wrap things up here with Bitcoin. Let me tell you a little bit about Micron and just with the technicals that we see on Micron. So for Bitcoin, this is the daily chart that we're looking at here. And we don't have to worry about pre-market for Bitcoin because it's always rolling. And the big thing about this resistance that you see, I'm going to keep on pointing it out, is the 200-day. We keep on getting above it, and then we keep on breaking back down below it. Again, this is another indicator here. If we get the 200-day, there's the 5 we needed to cross. The 13 would be even better, but the 5 is starting to round over on us. If we keep on getting rejected, it increases the likelihood that Bitcoin's going to tumble back down in the near term, at least. On this one, we do have bullish momentum happening. The volumes are starting to taper on this thing. There's not a lot of conviction in this move that you see. Nothing like what you saw with these higher volumes that preceded it. So about Micron. Micron is a stock that one of my community members asked me, hey, could you look into Micron? Let me know what you see in the technicals. This is around the same time that I was asked about Palantir. I said I had some time, and I said, absolutely. Let me cook these up for you. I'll tell you what I see on the charts, and you can do with it what you will, because I never tell you what to buy or sell. If you guys want to be a member of that community, by the way, there's a link down in the description for the Patreon. Click that and sign up. Head on over to the Discord, and that's where you can talk to me and the community members and see these technicals before they hit YouTube. So let me put this back up here. The technicals, by the way, if you want to learn to do technical analysis, you can do so using the link in the description for Stockmo Academy. I'll talk more about that at the end of the video for those of you who are interested. So back on the evening of 9/16, so that would go back here where we found ourselves at this support level. This was the day that I ran the technicals, and it was around 10 p.m. So it was after even the extended hours closed. So we didn't have any of this pre-market happening here. And I said, looks like we got ourselves a double bottom. We could potentially rise significantly from here. And with that, we got to watch out for this trend line coming down. You can see we actually started to get a little bit hesitant around resistance and about this trend line. And then we broke up through it. We actually had a pretty clean break. We had a free rise area in there up to that 94. So where did this move when the person asked about it? So this went from about 86 up to a 94. So an 8 to 10% gain in order to make that rise up to that area, leading up to earnings, which I said are in the after hours. And that's going to be a pretty big start to seeing what's going on with the AI stocks and demand and everything. And we want to see what exactly we hit with these earnings for earnings per share, and then also revenue basis, and then also forward looking for the guidance, what exactly they have spelled out for us. So like I said, this was available for us. I said, looks like it's going to be a bullish thing for us. Watch out for this trend line. Look what happened as soon as we snapped that trend line, by the way. That's where we got that massive rise in there, that rally happening. And now because we're getting close to earnings, you can see the tops coming down, the bottoms coming up, consolidating, narrowing down. Probably going to stick within this resistance area that we have up until we hear about those earnings. And then we want to start watching the other areas that are on here. And like I said, these have been available on the Discord. It's actually in one of the general channels that I have on there that it could have been viewed by anybody who is in there. And let me go out to the daily chart on this one so we can see a little bit more of that price action that's taking place. And you guys can see some of the prices that I have on here for Micron. So depending on how we move off of earnings, here are some prices that you should be looking at for Micron to the upside and to the downside of this thing. So like I said, that community, guys, if you want to join it, see my buys and sells, see my technicals before they hit YouTube, talk to me and my community members. The link for the Patreon is down in the description. All of this stuff happens at the Discord that's available through that Patreon. And if you guys want to learn about technical analysis and do this for yourself, empower your trading, you can do it using the link for Stockmo Academy. Use the code word doctor when you sign up. It's going to save you a ton of cash. On that sign up, you get access to the bread recipe trading strategy, which is top notch. I use it myself. Clean, easy setup. The course walks you on just how to do it, along with many other very small, easy to digest pieces of information. And as a master educator myself, having 17 years in education, multiple degrees, including my doctorate in education, and then knowing that Stock Mo himself, working with him personally, and also Mrs. Mo also being educators with even more experience than I have, they really did put together a clean and solid product, and I even have a chapter in there on options. It is most definitely worth checking out if you're looking for how to learn about technical analysis, looking for what matters in there, how to separate the wheat from the chaff, if you will, not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. That is something that I would highly encourage. And if you're looking for a trading strategy, that bread recipe, like I said, I use it myself. Stock Mo uses it himself. For his Discord, he actually has the bread recipe bot on there as well, which is an AI tool that you can use that helps to signal just if you want to double check what you have going on. That is a separate Discord than from the course Discord. But like I said, I'm going to let you guys go. Absolutely worth checking out. Look at those links down in the description. Use the code word doctor when you sign up for the technical analysis course. Thanks for watching, guys. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. I'll see you next video.